Yo, what's good with you? Back in black with a brand new commentary. To anybody who's already been on this channel, I know it's been a while. I'll save you guys a little sob story about how I've been working a lot or how inconvenient it is trying to make videos when your family is home. All that good stuff is neither here nor there. What is more important subjectively is that Battlefield 2042 is finally upon us, and I wanted to share my experience with you so far as an early access PS5 player up until now. If you guys are new to the channel and you love shooting games, make sure you guys aim for that subscribe button and shoot that like button as well. It really helps me out as a smaller channel, and it makes sure you guys actually get teammates that'll actually, PTFO. Let's get into it. So I've been playing the game since it launched in early access a couple of weeks ago. I'm currently sitting at level 77. My impressions won't include much about Hazard Zone because up until this point I've mostly been playing solo, and game modes like that require a full team, that's actually communicating. Speaking of that, one of the first things that pop into my head every time I play this game is, why is there no game chat in like 2021? I've only encountered like two shooter games, including this one, that have launched without game chat. And like in my head, I'm thinking, is that not like a default feature that has been in like shooting games or pretty much any multiplayer game since like 2007 or probably even further back? I don't even know. But like it's crazy to me that like this game launched with no game chat, a team-oriented game, or supposedly a team-oriented game at that. I suppose in the grand scheme of things, not having a game chat at the launch of your game is just scratching the surface of importance when it comes to issues that I have with this game from launch up until now. What was even more frustrating than not having a game chat was the amount of lag and rubber banding that went on throughout the early access and first week of the game's release. The rubber banding didn't occur the entire game, but it happens often enough to take you from a feeling of, wow, this game is awesome, to a feeling of, I really just wish this game would work. On Thursday last week, or I guess Thanksgiving, if you guys actually celebrate that, happy Thanksgiving to anybody who does, they released a patch that solved the majority of the rubber banding issues, but unfortunately, it still occurs in instances like getting shot with 30 millimeter cannons from a Little Bird or like a MC5 Bolt. Or I also noticed that it happens when the rocket launcher is going off on orbital if you actually make it that far on the map, because getting past that rooftop checkpoint is a hard task in itself, because I don't know, really bad game design, because putting a objective on top of a roof, I don't know. That's a really dicey one to me. I don't really know if I agree with rooftop objectives or not. You let me know how you guys feel about those down in the comments if you have been playing. I know there's like two of them, one on Renewal and then one on Orbital. They're both really annoying, but occasionally I'll get by them. Circling around back to the issue of like lagging and rubber banding, I think it's just, at this point, it's mostly something that occurs with the 30 millimeter cannons. It's just really annoying when like an armored vehicle or a helicopter is shooting at you and you think that you can get away by running into a building, but oh wait, you're rubber banding back and forth just to end up getting blasted into a million pieces, because on the other guy's screen you were probably just standing still, taking it, for lack of better words. It sucks even more because in the first 2 days of early access, I wasn't having this issue at all. So it seems like they were just going cheap with the servers to begin with, and as more and more players, influxed into the game, it just got worse and worse. I'm hoping that this will get ironed out within the next patch, because DICE says they have 2 more coming to address critical performance issues within the game. But I don't know, because not only does it happen with 30 millimeter cannons, I feel like just when you get a bunch of players into a small area in general, you will find more instances of the game, going wrong, or at least the servers are going wrong, for lack of better words. My other issue with this game is, how it feels like, what's the word I want to use? Bare bones. Bare bones is probably the best word I would use to describe this game. It feels like a stock car. Like, if this game was a baked potato, it would probably have nothing on it. It wouldn't have any bacon, no sour cream, no cheese, maybe a little salt and pepper, but that's about it. And that's just the minimum that you could even ask for when you're, getting a baked potato. Really, that's not even the minimum. It's below the minimum. Everything from the specialist skins to the guns feel like they're lacking a bit as far as depth and customization is concerned. As I'm sure you guys know, there's only 22 guns in the game, and that's if you don't include what comes with Portal. In all my years of gaming, I've personally never known a Battlefield game to launch with such a small selection of weapons and gadgets and tools. What's more weird is that all those weapons use the same couple of like attachments on the same weak progression path where all you need to do to get the attachments is like just get kills with the gun to unlock them, which is so simplistic. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, cuz like yeah, I get all the attachments by just getting kills, but like I'm not really like challenging myself or trying to find out the best way to use the gun. And I don't know, it's just everything about this game is just coming off as very simple to me, and I don't know how I feel, how that's coming off or how I feel about that. When it comes to character customization, that's even worse because I feel like if you're gonna force this specialist system down Battlefield players' throat, even though they so clearly didn't, want it for the sake, and if you're gonna do it for the sake of selling skins, my thing is, why didn't you just lean all the way into it and include more than 5 skins per character? Not to mention that these skins, or just even using skins as an excuse to put specialists in the game is complete nonsense to me, because if you look at Battlefield 5, they fleshed out the character customization in that game very thoroughly while still maintaining the classic class system that helps Battlefield actually get a established identity that separates it from other shooters. That being said, I expect them to update the store with a bunch of specialist skins over time like they did with BF5. I just don't see why they had to use that rather lackluster excuse when it comes to cosmetics, when they could have put the cosmetics in the game regardless. You don't have to have specialists to get like a reason to sell skins. I implore you, if you guys don't have Battlefield 5, or if you do have it I should say, just go into there and look at all the like suits and uniforms and stuff that you can put on your soldier. They could have did the same thing with this game, but no, they're like nah, we gotta sell the microtransactions, or that's alright. I'm like, bruh, you could have did it either way. Not that the specialists are like the worst thing in the world. I know some people hate them and some people don't mind them. I'm kind of like in the field where I don't mind them at all. Sorry about my iPhone. But I really don't like how they use the specialists as an excuse to like try and put microtransactions in the game as if they wasn't doing that already. Another aspect of the game that gives it a feeling of incompletion is the lack of detail in the gameplay and progression. Remember how Battlefield used to always like talk about destructibility and like how large scale it is thanks to the power of the Frostbite engine? Well, here we are in 2021 with an upgraded version of that same engine that we saw years and years ago, where we were able to level buildings. We were actually able to level buildings since Bad Company 2, it seems like. But for some odd reason, it seems like the destruction is at a minimal in this game. And that's very, very, very saddening. I understand that you don't want to be able to flatten the entire map to where there's no cover at all, because that doesn't make for a very fun experience either. But as it is right now, we literally have tanks that can't shoot through sheet metal, or we have jets bouncing off of skyscrapers, and we have hovercraft scaling up the side of buildings like it's like Rocket League or something. Not to mention that we've lost the ability to dive underwater. We can't crouch and sprint at the same time. We can't roll after jumping off of a high ledge anymore. What happened to fortifications? I thought like these were all gameplay features that they would build off of and improve, but I guess not, since they're actually doing things that detract from the team play overall. Anyways, let's talk about progression. I remember back playing Battlefield 4 and it felt like I was unlocking something for leveling up or unlocking something for my gun all the time. I can say that after 77 levels in Battlefield 2042, it feels like I'm not getting jack shizzle, man, you know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, I guess that's what happens when you only got 22 guns in the game, one kind of rocket launcher, and only a few gadgets for your soldier or vehicle in comparison to the older games. But like, what is there to unlock as you progress? It just goes to show how rushed this game is, because like 77 levels in and I feel like I'm getting something every like 5 levels maybe. It's not really doing it for me, you know what I'm saying? To give another example of what I mean by this game feels like a stock car and very bare bones, let's talk about Portal for a little bit. There's no one really making much of anything in that game mode. This is how my menu looks 90% of the time. And if you asked me what I thought it was going to be like before the game came out, I would have assumed that it was going to be packed with tons and tons of custom servers and modes to help players tailor any kind of Battlefield gameplay experience that they want, or maybe they would want to experience, with the older games were like, with updated graphics and gameplay features, of course. But kind of like a bag of chips, when you open the portal mode, you kind of like just look around and you're like, where are all the chips, or why is there so much air in here? I'm not trying to sound ungrateful because, I'm happy that we have the portal mode to begin with, considering the reception of the All Out Warfare section of the game. But I do want to inquiry, like, why does it seem like they just took 10% of each game, Bad Company 2, 1942, and Battlefield 3, and then they just mashed it together and like was like, hey, look, we got Portal, and they just want to get some nostalgia points from the old time fans. I mean, kudos for updating the graphics and whatnot, but it's literally like only a couple of the old maps and like a couple of the old guns, and I'm happy we have it, like I said before, but it does get kind of old after like the 10th game in a row, and you just end up playing the basic game modes like Conquest or Rush, and I haven't seen anyone make anything that's like super unique or exciting except for like a wingsuit simulator that I saw on like Jack Fragg's channel, and maybe like a hardcore milsim server I saw from Karma Cut. But other than that, I've mostly just been seeing XP farming servers or some empty server nonsense. And yeah, honestly, I was just hoping for something that would feel like the Battlefield launcher, where you could just hop from server to server and it would feel like either a whole new game, or I guess old Battlefield games, or a mixture of both. But so far it's been a pretty bad case of blue balls, which I hope to add some old maps and guns and lessen the restrictions on what you can do with the rules in the portal mode. Perhaps people just aren't used to making the servers and rules yet, but overall I would say that Portal definitely needs some more content along with the whole game, in general. I would even like to see them take it a step further by adding more classic maps, weapons, even adding more classic Battlefield games like the hardline factions, maybe some maps from that game and some of the weapons from that game too. Well, it's probably going to be some crossover there, but the next thing I wanted to talk about was balance and how the weapons feel. I'm sure you guys are well aware how tilted the scale is when it comes to vehicle versus infantry gameplay. I feel like most of it comes down to teamwork with rocket launchers at the end of the day, but again, what baffles me is how there's no game chat. And also, for a while, the hovercraft was just doing way too much, honestly. That thing, it got nerfed last Thursday on Thanksgiving, thank God. It finally got its 30mm cannon taken away and it was given lighter armor, but the MC5 Bolt has quickly taken its place as the, most hella annoying thing to deal with on the ground. I don't really have much to say about the, big tank and the light tank, because those are fairly balanced in my opinion, but I could definitely see the Bolt getting touched up next. The Little Bird helicopter, on the other hand, is turning out to be quite the menace on, due to the fact that they have, those free-firing rockets that cause your character to start, lagging and rubber banding as you try to run away. As soon as you start getting hit, you can't really move, and that's hella annoying. Fortunately, it did receive a nerf recently as well, but I do hope that they go back and look at it again, because, with the right pilot, you can cause some serious frustration, especially with those lag rockets. Switching gears here and talking about the guns, the Thanksgiving patch that rolled out last week, it addressed some serious bullet bloom or deviation issues that have been afflicting the game for the most part since it launched. The bullet spread was so bad, in fact, that it caused 85% of players to only use one gun, which was the PP29, which even further took what little variety there was in the game away. Anyone not using the PP29 or using a DMR or a sniper due to the low spread was at a severe disadvantage. Although the patch corrected that issue, I would argue that most of the guns, I would say that most of the guns are viable now, but there is still another issue where like you can be shooting at somebody and then you'll get ghost bullets. It's been happening to me as well since the game launched, and at first I thought I was crazy, but I saw another video from Jack Frags recently where he explained that in high traffic areas it'll cause the hit registration to be thrown off. So if you've been aiming at people and just missing, that's why. And, they going cheaper with the servers, like I said earlier. Just another thing DICE needs to work on, and hopefully that will be fixed in the next patch as well. Because also, like I said earlier, they got two more coming to address the major issues with the game. To quickly talk about each class of weapon, I want to say that the ARs are pretty good post-patch. My standouts are probably the Scar for that utility grenade launcher and the high damage. The submachine guns have been pretty good pre-patch and post-patch, but they got even better, obviously. I don't I don't even have to tell you that the PP29 is the goated gun. It's been that way for a while, mostly because of those high capacity mags and the great accuracy. Even after receiving a nerf to increase the vertical recoil, it's still pretty damn good. And it outguns me at medium range sometimes, even though I have a longer range weapon, which is kind of crazy. The light machine guns could use some love in my opinion. There's only two of them for whatever reason, and I have the tier 1 skin, as you can see in the gameplay, for the LCMG or whatever, which I will let you guys know that was a really big pain in the ass to get because I did it pre-patch where the spread was garbage. I think the spread is still a little too much for the LMGs, considering the fact that, you know, the whole point of them is to, you know, be suppressing and sustaining fire. I don't even think suppressing is a feature in this game anymore. But yeah, even with the bipod or whatever, I find that the spread is a little too much and I'm missing for, you know, no reason pretty much. I find that often I'm outgunned by at medium range by ARs and bested by snipers and DMRs at long range. I'm really not doing nothing at close range against some machine guns unless I put on the short barrel, and that kind of defeats the purpose of it being an LMG because you can't really hit nothing at medium or long range if you're using a short barrel. So I'm thinking, like, I don't know, maybe just the LCMG could use a buff. I think the PKP is still pretty good. DMRs and snipers are fine as is, although I will say that the NWT or the Barrett 50 cal looking one, that does some really good work against vehicles, maybe a little too good. So if you guys are going to look at that, that would be awesome. Other than that, there's not really much rivaling the recoil M5 launcher because it's the only rocket launcher in the game. I don't know why we only have one free fire rocket launcher in the game, where if you go back to Battlefield 4 you can see there's a whole bunch of them. Shoot, I don't know. Wasn't there like four or five in that game? I don't know. Either way, I'm just disappointed with the lack of content overall. The balance of the guns is it's getting better. It's trending upwards in a better place definitely after that patch, but it can still use a little bit of work. I would really appreciate it if you guys would just make the gunplay like Battlefield 5, because I thought you guys did a pretty good job there, but whatever. So how can I wrap this whole video up in a neat little bow for you to explain how disappointing this is? Well, Battlefield 5, right? It launched and it was a pretty weak ass launch, to be completely honest. Just like this game, if not worse, to be completely honest with you. DICE seemed to be turning it around with continual updates for that game, but you know, at some point, and you know, they just randomly cut support to work on Battlefield 2042, which broke my heart because they did a really good job with the Pacific update, and that was really good. Things were looking up for Battlefield 5. With dropping support for that game, they simultaneously received help from other EA companies, causing more games to get delayed, including Need for Speed. So as I played an unfinished Battlefield 5 for 3 years, I kept telling myself that the wait was going to be worth it, and that we were basically going to be getting the best Battlefield ever. You know, next gen graphics, 128 players, all the features and innovations from previous games. But no, we did not get the best Battlefield ever. We barely even got a complete game. And it leaves me with the biggest blue balls ever, which is, you know, the synopsis of how I feel. It leaves me wondering, why did this even happen? Why do games come out incomplete now? Why do publishers always overpromise? Why do developers have to crunch? Why is all the money and time put into marketing and not actually into making a good product? So many questions. And come to find out, the head of DICE is now leaving the company. Isn't that ironic with the timing? But what I do know is that all of this links back to greed, and I really hate that greed and money is, you know, eating the gaming industry from the inside out. All in all, I really want this game to be great. I imagine that it'll get significantly better over time, like most Battlefield games do after release. I just gotta wonder why they gotta come out like this in the first place. I don't hate the game. I wouldn't be level 77 if I did. I'm just very disappointed. But hey, that's just me. How do you guys feel about it? Have you guys been enjoying Battlefield 2042 so far? Maybe you guys are holding on to, playing it, or maybe you guys are not playing it at all. Just let me know how you guys are getting along in the comments. And if you guys enjoyed the video, if you guys enjoyed my commentary, if you guys even shared any similar, feelings and thoughts to me when it comes to this game, let me know down in the comments and drop a like. Other than that, I just wanted to thank you guys so much for watching the video. I'll try to get more consistent with uploads soon. I got a PC coming in that I just ordered, but I'll talk about that in another video. Other than that, I hope you guys have a good one. Black Guy out.